Hi everyone, today is the 26th of June 2025 and I'm here at Loxford Polyclinic to discuss my ultrasound and MRI reports with the GP. I sent my MRI reports to the practice and the GP contacted me to come in and see how they can assist me and see what we can do next. So for now, let's go in and see how they can help. Hi there, you okay?
Nice to see you again.
Good to see you.
So I've had a look at your email that you sent to June,
Mm-hmm.
and obviously, you've been going through a difficult period with everything that's happening to you and the conflicting information that you've been getting with these scans.
Mm-hmm.
So I do sympathise with you, and hopefully I can help you today.
Thank you. Again, I've told you, you can only see what's on your screen,
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
that's how you make your judgment. But you have to understand the patient, where he's coming from,
Absolutely,
and it's not that I've gone insane, but there's like a lot of things going on that have been specifically targeting me to just back down again. But for me, it's life or death. And as you can see on the report, the ultrasound and the MRI reports do not match. How can ultrasound say there's nothing wrong at all? Not even mentioning kidney cyst or anything, and then the MRI mentioning lymphs in my only what they want me to know as well. And there's no, when I done a blood test, they didn't mention anything.
So I can see how if I was in your shoes, you'll be very confused and a little bit upset with that. I mean, what I will say though is,
again,
they did mention the cyst on this ultrasound in February.
Yeah, but not in the latest one.
Okay, so this is a problem. When was the MRI done? Because
MRI done
cysts
very recently.
converse and they disintegrate.
I think it was the 5th of June. This is recent MRI at Tick Health, and
that's one that you sent us, right?
Correct. I've just sent you the report of it, and obviously
it was still there. There's a cystic lesion. It's still there.
I've contacted the Tick Health to compare my MRI done with them previously, because the radiologist, as soon as the scan was done, he mentioned there's lymphs in my that what he could see, but there was no mention of it on the report. So again, he suggested getting a biopsy done, which only as a radiologist that only occurs when there's something serious. And like I said, this is only what they want me to know. And like I said, to silence me, they gave me engineered poisons so they can psychologically, physically break me. You wouldn't believe the lengths they have gone to in order to cover all this up, fabricating all my medical records, and forcing me through endless loop in the system until I'm left exhausted, disoriented, and without hope. Again, to make it easy for you to understand my symptoms. So my symptoms strongly suggest extensive internal damage due to poisoning. My kidneys, liver, and surrounding organs are badly affected, and I have a constant severe abdominal and back pain. I'm also experiencing extreme urinary difficulties, including severe penile pain and nighttime.
Let me just make some notes in a second. So, okay, so you've got
nighttime incontinence. Given the intensity of these symptoms, I'm extremely concerned about the organ failure and the permanent damage. I urgently request a thorough evaluation, including specialist referrals to address these critical health concerns, like a blood test to detect these lymphs. Are they cancerous? What are they? How have they?
So tell me about these lymph nodes. Who mentioned it? Because not on
the
report.
radiologist on my recent MRI.
So why did he not put it in the report? Because there's no mention of it.
I've just contacted their team, and I spoke to the receptionist yesterday, and she said she'll give me a call back. I didn't hear back from them.
But it's just they can put it on the report. There's no mention of it on this MRI report.
That's what I'm saying. I've contacted them because as soon as
so let me just write this. It says the radiologist. When did you speak to him?
Straight after
You had it done, yeah?
Straight after I had the MRI done,
radiologist-
he outside he spoke to me, and he said.
And that was privately, yeah. Was it called Tick Health?
Tick Health. I've got a membership with them, and it allows me to get MRI, CT,
I see, sure.
and stuff done.
How do you spell that?
TIC
Yep.
Health.
Sure.
So they got one in Harley Street and one in the Hive.
Sure, no problem. So, and that was in June, yeah, this year. 2025. Spoke to him after the scan, yeah?
Straight after the scan, he, while I was sitting down, he came to get me, to take me off the MRI machine, and he said, he can see lymphs, and again, that's only what he can see on his screen. And
he can see lymphs,
straight after he said, I suggest you get a biopsy done, and when I researched about it, when there's a need of biopsy, it's only when there's something serious.
But why is he not? He's told you, but why has he not mentioned it on the report?
The report was done by someone else, I think.
So the radiologist is just a person who operates a machine.
So he was operating the machine at that time, and the report, I think, was done by someone else. And
so they're not trained to report on it.
I'm not sure what they've done, but I've contacted the receptionist yesterday, and I asked them to see if you can compare the reports, and I'm gonna discuss them in detail on what they can do. But for me, I've done this privately. They're keeping me in this vicious cycle, going around and around until I lose my sanity. But
so that is the worry. I'm going to be completely honest with you here. Like from my perspective, and your family told me your family feel the same thing as well. Like they believe that you got a lot of anxiety about. I mean, I can understand probably why, because you've had conflicting information.
Like
but
I said,
there is a lot.
I've told my family about my health concerns. I'm going through a lot of pain inside, but I've not told them about my battle on me tackling this, how I've done it. That's something, because they, for them it's something new, and they're very they're on the old school ways.
Who lives at home with you?
My family, my parents,
your mum,
and my brothers and sisters. Yeah,
sure. Okay, because I want to help you. We're trying to get the bottom of this. And that's why I've asked you to come in. But at the same time, I need you to sometimes recognise what we've done. What's happened. So even though you've got this hemorrhagic cyst, it's still there on the.
Again, that's what they say. But me not even being able to walk properly, and even when I'm walking, I'm in constant pain.
Sure.
I've mentioned. So for me, it's at the last stage until I collapse, and what they're gonna do then, and at what stage am I at?
Impacting all aspects of your life.
Exactly. I'm unable to work, and for me, I'm an earning man. I'm not the whole.
Yeah, you're very articulate, educated person. So this is, I don't want this to hold you back in your life.
It has been holding me back, but again, everything I've done,
overtaking everything.
You won't believe it. It's like hell. And when it comes to the system, how they keep you trapped and keep you going around, you won't believe it. It's nuts.
Do you think they infiltrated like your home situation and things like that?
Who is it? Like I said, when it comes to
you're up against a system, like government system, or was it?
I mean, in general, when it comes to your medical records being fabricated, that's a big thing. They wouldn't want the world to know about it, and your phones being compromised, your digital systems, it's like being a whistleblower and revealing all of this, like someone that has never done it before. And with me, how I've kept my medical history with getting scans done in this country and in Pakistan, and how all the scans have been different. You know, they haven't been able to keep up with their story, and me having digital copies of these MRIs, CTs, and everything, you know, they have lacked from there, and now it's just, you know, me submitting the police reports and everything, and no one even contacted you once. It's just like you're just being played around and around until you just give up. So it's all about how you psychologically lose control. You know, they will target you in ways that you can't imagine.
To break you down,
break you down, and you know, the poison that they give you is internally, it's physically, it destroys you anyway. It literally kills your potential, kills you from the inside, and then what's left of you, you won't even be able to fight. But for me, like I said, I've had creation step in where in the most divine way. I've been blessed with the system of time. And bro, you won't even imagine. And very soon, maybe you see my story. I've gathered everything, my evidence and everything, and go on TikTok to explain my situation, and because that's the only way it can be dealt with. If they're not going to step in and you know tackle this like real men and real people, then what's the point? Because for me as a civilian, I've done everything, contacting the police, explaining to them.
So you've been to the police,
many times. I've made multiple reports, and I've even been to Downing Street, you know, protesting about, explaining my situation and everything. And it's just, you know, it's cover-ups after cover-ups, and how they can.
So who's it you believe are you up against? You have, you know. Who you poisoned you? The system or the NHS?
No, it's like you're being targeted for being blessed. Like you're special, like having the system of time, which you won't understand because, you know, I'm just talking about time. But there's a bigger. You won't understand this world, how beautiful and you know how everything is so connected. It's like you need to. For this, it's like a topic for another day where I need to sit down and help you understand these realities, because we as people are just kept in a darkness, but what they tell us is right, and you're just injecting your brain with different things, and you know, wars, Iran, this and all that. It's like you're just being pushed on a different path to not see the real realities, and you know, stay in these bubbles, trapped. And that's it.
You believe
you've seen that, again, the world is beautiful. We are here. Like you can see how UK is different to Pakistan. How you know people there are just suffering day and night. And still are after the colonization and everything. And over here we're blessed. We're chilling. You know, we've got everything.
Two systems in the world.
Exactly.
Let me do your blood pressure if that's okay.
Yeah, sure.
So you say you're quite religious, or you believe in God? Just put this down to just okay. We're doing that. Once your arm comes out of that.
Yeah, I believe in creation, and you know, creation is massive. They have their own systems. It's beyond what a human life can experience in one lifetime. And it's, you know, these sort of knowledge are just kept away from us. Only the people, the real elites, and everyone, they get exposed to it. And with me, I've been blessed with a system of time. Like I said, you won't be able to keep this battle ongoing if I wasn't exposed to these supernatural realities. And the things I've witnessed, the things I've been through, experienced, only I know. And then I can share it with my experiences, like with the world, to understand. And
have you written stuff down to like?
Oh, I've tried to keep as much track of it. Like, you know, there's how they have tried to connect me with everything as much as possible. I've had poetic justice, meaning music albums and everything being created. There's like it's mind blowing, and it's like people behind the scene know about your story, but it's like holding this back so the world doesn't really find out. It's like, you know, it's
eye-opening for me.
Exactly, it's, you know, a boy from Ilford Lane can get there, but again, it's only about the people who understand this. It's like for you, you're here, you do your GP stuff. You will never been exposed to something like this before until you speak to a person and get to know him.
Of course.
And
I'm prepared to do that, you know, to just try to understand you know.
I know.
what
I
you're
was
going
you
through.
speak to a different GP who have a different mindset.
Yeah, of course.
Is
yeah.
something he won't take it easy if he's old school. You know, be like,
Yeah,
just go
yeah.
home, man. What are you doing?
Yeah, exactly. They will listen. No, I believe it's important to try and understand some of these things and how your thought process is. So, you know, I think, what do you want me to do? I mean, I want to because the problem is, you know, once you've been under lots of specialists, lots of scans, and I think, you know, you've told me something quite insightful here about.
And this is the thing. I've had to keep up with all of this.
Yeah.
Meaning, you know, how they have tried to lay traps. You know, eventually you'll fall down back in this system because everything is always in their favor. You are vulnerable to everything. You will be left with no money. You can't work. And for me, I've had to do these private blood tests and everything. You know, I found tick health. And even when you do the blood test, you have to go to Harley Street. Everything is connected back to Harley Street. I don't know if you know about, you know, there should be a documentary on Harley Street on how they do things there.
They do well, this is it. I mean, my worry is that you're going to be taken advantage of, you know, because of your anxieties. You know, these guys are just here to make money.
Again,
do you see what I mean?
The way I've documented my journey,
is,
there's not much they can do, and you know, the best thing for them to do was, you know, come forward and you know, just help, just give me my health back. You know, just move on. I don't want to be in this situation. I don't want to. Go
so this is it for me.
But like
at the
I said,
moment,
for being blessed, they will target you like no tomorrow. Especially when you have this. The love of creation, this backing of the system of time, which is another huge thing. I'll recommend you something. You watch it and then you get better.
I mean, what I think we should do is basically because what worries me, you know, like you say, you're clearly on a different level to everyone else, but at the same time, you know, you have to be functional in the world. Otherwise, people will see you and think there's something wrong. You know. Not everybody will understand what you're telling them. So, and I think, you know, really, I want you to be functional. I want you to have a job, because when
only if I could work. Like I said, with the damage that's been
what
done.
we need to go for. That's what we need to aim for.
The amount of damage that's been done until I get the surgery. Until.
So what do you believe in? You need a transplant? You like a transplant?
Internally, you know, they've shattered my organs. When you can't walk, and what I've explained to you, you know, the urinary difficulties, including the severe penile pain and nighttime incontinence, and there's so much more to it. It's like, you know, how they can psychologically break the person down. And you know, these engineered poisons to specifically do that, and especially for going through it for years. Eventually the person will
will break, isn't it? Okay, so what we do is, I mean, from my point of view, I want you to have a repeat of your blood test, because
yes, please,
on the last blood test, even though your liver enzymes were actually improved, there's a couple of things like your you know, your sugar level needs to repeating, and the main one is really your folic acid. That's the one I wanted to check.
They say that it's
again. B12 folate, it was too early to do these. Thyroid, again, that's too early. Your prostate was normal. Your cholesterol was okay, but I think we'll do the folic acid again.
And again, as you can see in the ultrasound report that you have, there's not even a mention of a cyst.
Yeah, well, no, there is on the one
in one of the previous ones, but not in the most recent one that was done at Newham Hospital.
When was that done?
Just now, just before I done the MRI.
Really?
When they told me that there's nothing wrong, you know, because I can't walk. For me, I try to go out, get a little iced tea, coffee, and you know, the whole journey I'll have to keep holding my back.
Is it lower back pain?
No, it's all over, both sides. My liver, especially inside, the amount of damage that's been done. Only me as a person know this.
Okay. So let's give you the form for that. I mean, you know, the other side of it, because people don't understand your thought process, they think you're quite paranoid about your health, you know, and so this is why you know, a lot of the specialists have recommended that we get you to see a psychiatrist. Maybe
Again,
because
that's I've already been through hell as it is, there's no, because they had contacted me before and everything.
Yeah, you
And
declined that.
like I said, with the
I think it might be
poetic
good
justice and
because-
everything, I know how to keep myself entertained
Yeah,
and how to keep my energies positive,
Absolutely.
because their whole agenda is how to push you towards negativity
this
and
is the
the
thing.
darkness.
You know, when you told me about the whole believing, we don't really comprehend that. Psychiatrists are able to, because they see people like this, who maybe have a different thought process than everybody else. So I think it may be a good idea for you to even have that discussion with them, like how you've spoken to me, and try and explain that to them, because maybe they'll be able to.
Again, every person is different, and that's something, these realities only I'm exposed to, especially with the battle I'm going through with them. And it's
Because I was a little disappointed you kind of declined that input, which is fine. You're but I just think it might be a good idea for you to.
Again, my main priority was always getting my health back.
Yeah.
And again, I'm an IT engineer. I can fit in anywhere.
Yeah.
I've had to work at Uniqlo as a customer advisor just so I can save up a little bit to get a private scan done.
Sure.
So you see, I've holding my back and everything. I've
Yeah.
enjoyed my time there,
Yeah.
but again, you meet new people.
Sure.
You see new things.
This is it, and I think this is what you need to focus on, is at least being able to be functional, and being able to at least have an income financially.
Exactly.
Otherwise you'll struggle.
Again, I've
So
always been a financially stable person,
Yeah,
and
yeah. You're in IT, yeah, IT.
Yeah,
engineer.
was an IT engineer until I had to move on away from that,
Yeah, of course.
and with my condition, I can't work as it is, and
Sure.
it was my health was always my main
Yeah.
concern. Like the things I was going through. Until
Yeah.
now, I know how to tackle everything that's thrown at me much better.
Yeah. So from my point of view as your doctor, I have to code, the symptoms that you're having, and there is a lot of paranoid thoughts here. So I'm going to put that down.
Yeah,
right
sure.
There, okay, because
Whatever
I
you think
that-
it is, that's you and the system.
Because this is factual. It just describes, what you're telling us.
For me, I've told you everything from my end, and I do suggest that we get another blood test done with
obviously.
everything ticked off, so we do not give them an excuse later on. Literally tick everything.
No, I can't take everything.
Obviously, whatever you can.
I do the ones that are relevant.
Again, I don't want to give them any excuse.
Sure.
Again, I've mentioned the lymphs from the radiologist directly after the scan, and that's only what they want me to know. And then comes, the ultrasound report. Why not get an MRI done with NHS ASAP as urgent?
Yeah.
And that's it. If they I told you I have proof now where the NHS systems have been compromised, it's a big thing. Obviously, I don't want to brag about it. The NHS systems compromised, blah blah blah, because it affects the whole NHS. Again, it's a beautiful. Like I said, I love this country. We as people contribute and make it better.
Yeah, I think you've got a lot to give to society.
Exactly.
And unfortunately, you're going through this period now.
And when you're targeted for being blessed to consume you.
This is what I mean. This is consuming you now. It's taken over your whole life, and that's a problem, because you have a lot to give society. You're articulated. You can put your thought process across. You're clearly educated. I think you've got a lot to give. To the world. But I think at the moment, this is sort of consuming you. And I think once you get in that stage, I think that's becomes a problem.
They know, these people, they know how to
but how
kill
are we
you
gonna
and kill your potential.
But how are we going to overcome this? Because we can't let them win.
Oh, well, they're not going to win anyway.
So
I'm telling you, the amount of things.
Yeah, good. So that's good. So that's good. That's positive. But I want you to, by doing that, you need to be functional. And so you're not, do you see what I mean? You need to be in a job. You need to be earning a living. Because at the moment, by you being at home, just, worrying, consuming, being consumed by this, they're winning.
Again,
because they're impacting your day-to-day functioning.
True.
You see what I mean?
With my condition, I cannot work. And I see my brother work. And
but I want to make small steps. I'm not saying work full time. Try and do something that at least gives you an income. Because like you say, meeting people, going out, speaking to different people, it's good for you. You probably have a message to pass on to people. But I won't necessarily, if you meet somebody first time, to start telling them everything that's going on, because people will interpret it in a different way.
Right now, the conversation we had is like a much simplified version, so you can understand me and my story a bit better.
Yeah, I know you've not elaborated.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then the proof is already there, where even the NHS records are not matching. So
yeah. There are some discrepancies, right? Okay. So I'm going to do something called a full blood count. I'm going to do something called a CRP, an ESR, and a folic acid, as well as something called a celiac screen. You had a very low folate, and one of the causes of that can be an absorption problem. So you get things like celiacs that can affect that. So we'll do the celiac screen, and we'll see
the most important one would be the kidney function test and the liver function test, and you know, anything that's cancerous. Just
so firstly, your kidney function, your liver function is normal. Your system won't allow me to repeat that so soon. Okay.
I mean, that's the most important one, because that's my affected.
I can't do that now.
Yeah, no worries.
I'll do the relevant ones that I can do, but we can also we can do that maybe in a few months' time.
Obviously, when
because it's too soon for
someone has mentioned, you know, they've been poisoned, there should be a toxic report from the back end, from the NHS, to provide that. But obviously, when the cover up has been done,
again, I don't know. You may want to go and speak to Tick Health about having a toxic screen done. Unless you know what it is.
You know, the funny thing is, the guy who was doing my MRI, he said his dad was also poisoned back in Zimbabwe, and that's how he passed away. So again, it's
Sorry to hear that. I mean, you know, what I don't want is people to take advantage of your anxieties, and for you to say, let's do this test and let's do this test, okay? Because you paid an awful lot of money at the moment on these private MRI scans, and you know, I believe a lot of these Harley Street guys, that's what they're there to make money essentially.
But you see, there's a central point where you can't go anywhere else. You have to be at Harley Street, where everything is connected back.
And this is it. So they're playing on that. Do you not see what I mean?
Exactly.
Everybody's taking you. You know, they know that you've got these anxieties. You know, you're going to end up having an MRI every 3-4 months. It's not, it's not.
I mean, I've done everything to keep up with the system, because you know that for them is to prove you, portray you as a liar and you're wrong, and they will do everything, you know, turn everyone against you, and so many different psychological tactics, and they got people to do that, well paid people. If you got a fabrication team, meaning people in the back end that are generating fake MRI, CT, ultrasounds, just on you, so you can see how many other people that's been done to you, and there's whole teams behind it around the world, not just here. Obviously, but when it comes to the West, there will be more with the systems that they have and everything. They'll be more alert.
I agree. Okay, so listen, what I want you to do is get this done. What my fear is that these thoughts apparently it's going to just get worse, and it's going to then start affecting your physical functioning. So, are you exercising? Are you doing?
I can't.
No, I can't do anything. What about like meditation, yoga?
But like I said, I'll keep my energy positive, watching entertainment, music, movies, TV shows, and that keeps me. You know, like I said, when creation stepped in, they have also made my whole journey for me to tackle everything much better, and tweak me to the best version of myself. They have left deeper messages that's in the entertainment that's out there.
So when you're watching these things, you believe that there's some sort of...
Oh no, I will tell you, and you will see for yourself.
Really?
And maybe that's
so when you're watching these
programs, back to me. There's like
any certain programs, or
I'll share it with you, and then you can see for yourself. Like I said, I have a whole I've documented my whole journey as much as possible, and then my life will be history from start to finish as it is. And I do recommend, if you can, put a MRI request.
I wouldn't be able to put an MRI
because again, no worries. Again, that's my suggestion. But blood test is more than enough for
like I said, let's move forward from it. I want you to slowly we'll get somewhere. I do want you to consider about the psychiatrist thing that I said.
Yeah, sure. I'll consider it. Again, we'll see, because like I said, I have a lot of things going on as it is,
of course,
and my main priorities are how I'm going to get my health back, and 100%. Expose this this evil that's been done to me.
So the other thing is, it might quite good for me. I mean, I'll leave it down to you, but maybe next time you come in, who's you close to? You told your family about any of this? I mean, is it possible for me to speak to them?
Like I said, it's at the moment I've only told them about my health condition and why I'm not unable to work, what I'm going through. For them, they, like I said, they're old school Muslims, and for them this is obviously, I don't want to worry them
Yeah,
with
of course.
obviously.
Yeah, yeah.
I know.
So you got good insight.
Exactly.
Yeah, yeah,
You have to you have to be very careful because
100%,
it flips your house
Yes.
to
Yes.
negativity,
Yes.
and confuses everyone, and
Good.
especially when the people are old,
Yeah.
they're suffering from heart conditions.
Yeah. What about your brothers and sisters? You got sisters and brothers?
My brother's at work,
I see, yeah.
and then my brother, the others are young.
Yeah.
So
yeah, they don't.
just one's just finished her
Sure,
A levels.
sure. So that's good. Yeah, I think that's key.
For
That-
me,
because
it's
you're-
my fight, my battle,
And
I
that's
know how
very
to deal with it.
sensible. I don't want you to impact your family in that
Exactly.
way. But at the same time, so I need to be able to help you then, okay?
Mhm.
Because I've seen people like this, they deteriorate so much that they can't function then, okay?
No, thank you very much.
So,
And,
I want you to, let's go through this, maybe meet up on a regular monthly basis,
sure.
if it's just to have these conversations.
For me, I want to be out of this.
Yeah, me too, yeah, but
it's,
sometimes it takes time, okay?
Yeah.
And, have a little think, get the blood test done, have a think about what we said about maybe getting the psychiatrist to speak to you, and see what, see if they can shed more light on things, yeah?
Got it.
Yeah?
Perfect.
Good man.
Thank you very much.
All right, should you? Hopefully
Thank
this
you.
has been positive.
Definitely,
Sorry,
it's
we
been a
haven't-
good conversation.
we
I
haven't-
don't want to take too much of your time because you've got
No, it's okay.
so many things to do.
I know you want the MRI, but let's work through it slowly, and we'll try and get to a positive.
Also,
outcome.
can you prescribe me lansoprazole as a repeat
Yeah, of
prescription,
course,
because
yeah.
that
I'll
with
give
the
you that, yeah.
internal damage that's happened to me.
Shall we
This
do a
helps me
stool
with the
test? Do you want to do
digestive.
Helicobacter
No,
pylori?
it won't make make any difference. It's,
Yeah, you've been positive in December,
they did, and then the next one
Yeah.
was like they make up some new
and
story.
this can be a recurrent.
But I've
bacteria.
tested lansoprazole, and
Yeah, it
it helps me
works.
with
No
the
worries.
digestive system.
Sure, I'll put it on your repeats then, yeah. You want the 30 milligram?
15 would be fine. 30 would be too much.
No worries, whatever you want. So, take this. You can take this continuously. I would take it, but usually you don't need it longer than 4 weeks.
Mhm.
And then you can have a break, okay? And just take one every morning, and it'll be on your repeats. So it'll be a variable use. Whenever you need it, you can ask for it, okay?
Perfect.
And I'll send that to Britannia Pharmacy here. All right, should you?
Thank you very much.
No problem. Any questions?
No, all
Shall we-
good. It's
shall
been
we
a good
show-
conversation.
yeah,
It's,
yeah,
hopefully
yeah.
you
Yeah, I definitely.
from
It's helped me understand you a lot more, and I think I think ultimately, we both want the same end goal. We want you to be better. We want you to get out of this whole where all these symptoms are affecting.
definitely.
you.
Maybe you see me on the social media or something. It's these realities.
Yeah,
It's very
Are
important.
you on social media at the moment?
At the moment, yeah. I'm doing whatever I can. Go moving forward to go on TikTok and
sure.
finally, with the amount of evidence and documenting my whole journey,
Yeah.
it should get out there, because they're not doing what they're supposed to. Meaning, if
Sure.
you're filed a police report
Yeah.
within 48 hours, you're supposed to. Obviously, and I've filed multiple, no
Really?
response. Just
Yeah,
let it be.
Yeah,
And poisoning the phone hacking.
yeah.
It's like you're being a whistleblower, and
Sure,
the amount of
sure.
things I know, silence,
Yeah.
and the amount of time that's taken, how eventually a person should be broken down by now.
Yeah.
Um,
All right. Well, lovely talking to you, Shajo, and maybe we'll touch base again in about a month's time.
Sure, definitely.
Yeah. And I will put it. I'm going to put paranoid ideation on here, okay? Because it's just description of what's going on, really. Good. So I'll see you. Shall we say in about 4 weeks' time? Is that all right?
Yeah, sure.
Shall we let you book the appointment, or do you want me to book it now?
Whatever you think is best.
Yeah. Let's do it for. I'll book it for 9:30 on the 24th of July.
Sure.
Yeah. I'll see you then. Okay.
See you now.
Mark it in your diary. Okay.
Mhm.
9:30. In fact, shall we do a little bit? We do 9:50. Alright. I might have a student. Would you feel comfortable with a student in here, or would that be a bit?
Yeah, no problem. Again, I've shared as much as I can.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
for you, just
Yeah, you
spice
have
up
to,
things in your life, how you see things,
Yeah.
how your perspective
Yeah.
is, not to be
Yeah.
sent towards the direction of darkness with all the hate that they put into our minds.
Yeah.
And
And it's been an eye opener for me as well, and a real insight. But I think ultimately we need to make sure you're functional. And we
Exactly.
I think once it starts consuming you like this, then whatever.
All right,
it is,
it will
it's-
never continue.
yeah,
But
good
the amount of
stuff.
things I've been through, and
Yeah. All right, good. All right, Shajo. I'll see you on the 24th of July. Okay.
perfect. Thank you much.
No problem.
Thank you.
You're welcome.